Okay, so my name is Christine Mkostate. I'm the Executive Director at the Kenya Network of Cancer Organizations. Kenco is a national umbrella body for cancer civil society in the country that are active in different aspects of cancer. And we are all united so that we have a forceful response towards cancer control. Currently, we have over 35 civil society organizations that have come together under the Kenco umbrella. So as Kenco, as part of our mandate when it comes to creating of awareness and educating people on cancer, and in terms of advocacy, we have been active in tobacco control, because tobacco has been linked to quite a number, at least 20 types of cancers, more than 16 types of cancers have been linked to tobacco. So for us as a cancer civil society, we feel if something can be done about tobacco, the reduction of tobacco use, then it will translate to less cases of tobacco, of cancer, because tobacco is the #1 risk factor for cancer. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for that. So we, just as you mentioned, tobacco is a risk factor for cancer. So do you think the government has done enough to ensure that cancer patients can be able to access medical services? For example, through NHIF. Does NHIF exclusively cover cancer patients? Or do you think there's a need for the government to do more on the same?
Okay, thanks for that question. So for us, we feel NHIF has been helpful. Let me say we even encourage people to take up NHIF services, because one thing we want to commend the government is that at least NHIF does cover part of treatment, for different kinds of cancers. You can find it does cover some aspects like of chemotherapy, of radiotherapy, of some surgeries. But then again, now there's still that debate on how much it can cover. Maybe you have like 25 sessions that you have to undergo, but you find probably it will cover like 10. So the rest of the balance, then the patient has to chip in out of pocket. So those are some of the concerns we have. Then also you find you may have two people with the same kind of cancer, but then and they both have NHIF, and they are going through the same kind of treatment, but whatever they get from NHIF is totally different for the both of them. So you wonder what really, what measures do NHIF use to determine, this patient A will get this amount, patient B will be covered this amount. Then also our other concern is on screening and diagnosis. NHIF will not cover for that, of which is something we've really been advocating for, because you see it is cheaper to get screened than getting actual treatment. So if only the government could invest more on screening, especially for the screenable cancers. Yes, we know that not all cancers are screenable, but for the ones that are able, where you can go for screening, we would wish if NHIF could cover that. If you're out there in the community and you have your NHIF card, you can afford to go for screening with that. When it comes to diagnosis, it's also a process. NHIF will not cover that. So it will only start covering you under treatment, and treatment is expensive. So those are some of the issues under NHIF that are of concern to us. But we do encourage people to have the NHIF cards, to start investing on time, right early, even before you get to know you have cancer, because you never know. If you get cancer, at least it will deal with your treatment and with your bed rest and all that.
Thank you so much for that. So from what I've picked from you is that the government at least is trying to do as much as possible to ensure that cancer patients are supported. So on tobacco control, so I'd like to ask a question, and this goes to, do you think the government has been very supportive on enforcement, especially on tobacco control legislations, and even just supporting tobacco control advocates to ensure that some of the issues under tobacco control are curbed?
Okay. Now, just to take you back a little, there's the issue you mentioned about cancer treatment in general. So apart from NHIF, of course, there are things that government has done. We have guidelines in place. For example, they recently launched the cancer policy for the country that will give direction on what needs to be done. We have the National Cancer Institute in place. NCCP is in place. But yet, yes, there's what government has done, but there's so much that needs to be improved on. especially what we are talking about, cancer awareness in the public domain needs to be really insisted on so that people can know basic risk factors and basic symptoms to look out for, so that you don't have to wait for long. Then you only go to hospital when it's a bit too late, when cancer has progressed. Then also having these policies disseminated to the communities, it's also very important, and to health workers, and also educating our health workers so that they have a high suspicion index for cancer. You might be treating malaria in a child for so long, and there's an underlying cancer out there. So yes, so there's so much to be done in cancer control, and of course the financing part of it from government. More funds need to be invested in that. When we look at the amount of money that NCDs get versus communicable diseases, oh my, there is so much that needs to be done under NCDs. We are not getting the kind of money that needs to be received from government. And now on what you mentioned on tobacco control, yes, we do have the acts in place. It is one thing to have guidelines on paper, and it is another for them to be implemented. So of course, as civil society, our voices have to continue to be heard, and we still have to continue making noise, because we need action to be done. It is good that it is there on paper, at least it's progress, because some countries, of course, they may not have these laws in place, they may not have the acts in place, but we need government to take a really firm action on what needs to be done. We also would not want to see, sometimes we feel tobacco industry and the government are really collaborating, which is really against the law. So we need government to be really firm when it comes to tobacco control matters.
Okay, thanks for that, Christine. So I would love to shift a bit. So we've all been hearing as tobacco control advocates that the tobacco industry is actually introducing new products in the market. The products are termed as emerging nicotine products, and the narrative behind the products is that the products are not harmful. The products are tobacco-free. The products can be used in substitution of cigarettes. So what do you have to say about that? How much knowledge do you have on the new generation emerging nicotine products? And as a tobacco control advocate, what do you have to say about that?
Okay, now this the tobacco-free products, as they are being called, the new name, I think there was a story on paper, or an article on paper by the Tobacco Control Board that mentioned that even the nicotine that is being used in African countries, Kenya being one of them, is more lethal than what is being produced in the West. So already that shows, as much as we are saying this thing does not have tobacco, this thing is going to help people, reduce their addictiveness and all that. There's a feeling, of course, this is an industry. This is an industry that is out to look out for, to get more money on their side. They really don't care about the health of other people. It's all about making money. So already, if there's been that, for example, an article that shows nicotine is in more levels than what is recommended. Number two, these new products, they are also aiming on young people. These are young people who've never been using, they are new people to tobacco use. So it is a way of, for us as civil society, we feel it is a way of luring young people. They already, as an industry, they already have their usual customers, the older generation. Once you become addicted to tobacco, it becomes an issue when it comes to stopping. Actually, people have to go to rehab, and you're taken through counseling and all that for you to be able to stop. So you see, they already have that number of clientele that they want, and their aim is now to lure new people. And how best do you lure new people? You now have new products in the market, products that look really beautiful and attractive to the young person. Then now with this being that you not get addicted, it's just a new form of thing. For us, we feel this is just a strategy by the industry to lure more customers to it at a very young age, that's exposing a very young generation of Kenyans to tobacco use. And of course, the younger the generation, they are even going to be more susceptible to diseases. So for us, it's a no-no for us. And even the many activities that they've been conducting in campuses, in colleges, and even parts of, even in in institutions where they have to do things like CSR, you know, it is a way of just marketing their product, and we feel this is wrong.
Okay, thank you so much for that. This conversation excites me because I think it's really new, and we all need to hope in before the tobacco industry traps our youth into smoking. But then I would love to ask, do you think the Tobacco Control Act really covers these products? And if not, what are the gaps in the Tobacco Control Act that need to be amended to ensure that these products are actually regulated? If not regulated, they are even banned, for example, by the government.
Okay, you know, one thing that maybe I would want to say is, when you, for example, the tobacco industry, they know very well that there are people who've been making noise about it. So as part of marketing and strategy, they also have to sort of come back in, you know, in a new way. Yeah. So for me, my feeling, what we feel is that the Tobacco Act will talk about tobacco products. It may not necessarily define, like, literally say, I'll talk about these products, you know, they have to be nicotine free. And I believe that is where we are having all these new terms out here to come and confuse people. You know, when you start talking of new products with different names, then it looks like these products are not part of what the Tobacco Control Act is talking about. Yeah, but a tobacco product remains a tobacco product, whether it is given name A or name B, right?
Yeah.
And the feeling here is government is not careful on trying. I know, for example, some of the industries they've gone even ahead to have some of the products formalized and licensed under the pharmaceutical board as something really good. It has no effect on people and all. But you see, it is about strategy. Yeah, it's all about strategy. So for me, I feel that it doesn't matter what the industry, the new name is, but they still remain to be tobacco products. And it is for us as civil society or other actors, tobacco control actors who are really active in tobacco control, to really come out and bring out these issues. Yeah, that as long as the product has some product in it that causes some hazardous properties in this product that causes an effect to health, then it needs to still be put under the Control Act that defines very well about all these products. Yeah. So I may not go into detail like clause by clause of the Tobacco Act. Yeah. But of course it prohibits the harmful products or harmful ingredients in the product. You see? So again, it is about going by clause by clause. If you go into details, yeah, they may say it doesn't have the tobacco, but if the nicotine itself is harmful, you see, it's still covered under the same. But of course, all these matters of strategy and everything is trying to try and disconnect themselves from the act and say this product is not covered. Yeah. But of course, if you go act by clause by clause, I'm sure there are ways that it can be amended better, but my belief is it is a tobacco product, it has harmful effects, it is a hazard to Kenyans' health, and it needs to be taken care of.